All right, hey everybody, my name is Zarina Elamine, and today I'm going to be teaching you all 3 steps that you can use to start documenting your loved one's life story. Okay, so first of all, have you ever thought about preserving your loved one's life story? Maybe your aunt or your grandma or your uncle or such, but maybe you feel like overwhelmed, about where to start. Um, if so, today I am going to be showing you like exactly how simple it can be. But first, let me tell you about why this is so important. I have been in publishing for upwards almost on 2 decades now. And I have helped, we've been able to help a lot of people get their ideas out of their head, down onto paper, and out there into the world in book format. But these life stories in particular are so critical and so important. These stories are treasures. They're the lessons, they're the wisdoms, they're the experiences, they're the values that make us who we are. So imagine if your children or your grandchildren are able to read about the challenges that maybe you overcame or some of the joys of your proudest moments, right? Imagine how that would feel for you as an individual. Or think about how you would feel if your great grandmother or your great grandfather or uncle or someone had a written story that you could read about them and their life. How powerful would that be as far as legacy and family history? So, life stories are really, I believe, some of the most important bits of information that one can pass down, right? It's not always about financial inheritance, it's also about cultural inheritance, about family knowledge, family skills, family wisdoms, okay? Now, life stories and preserving and pulling together the life stories are also about connection. Because when you document our stories, you connect generations. You connect the past with the present, with the future. So it helps us to understand more about where we come from and also the legacy that we want to leave behind. So, if you've been thinking, okay, I should do this someday, well, today is your day, right? Stick with me, and I'm going to show you how to take the first 3 steps to document a life story in a way that's going to be easy, meaningful, and also kind of like fun, not overwhelming, not overwhelming. Okay. So, the first thing that I want you all to do is pick a starting point. Pick a starting point. You do not need to cover their entire life all at once. You have 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years of life, and you're thinking, like, okay, I want to write their life story. And it's like, oh my God, it's so much. Okay, so instead of thinking about their entire life, I want you to start with one pivotal moment. One pivotal moment, maybe a moment in their childhood or a moment in their career, or maybe they started this business and you want to talk about that, or a life lesson that they love sharing. Okay, so instead of trying to focus on everything at once, pick one pivotal moment. Let me give you an example of a question that I love as one of the like first opening questions, if you will. So let's say you're sitting down with your great auntie or your auntie or such, and you say, auntie, um, what was one of the happiest moments of your life? And then you just sit and wait and see what she says, right? Like that one question can spark an entire book in and of itself. That one question, her one answer could start a whole story coming out of it, right? So I want you to not feel as though you have to start getting into every aspect of their life. Allow things to move naturally by picking one starting point, one pivotal moment. All right? So that's step number one. Step number two is that I want you all to start using like, simple prompts. Don't worry about the fancy questions, but I also want you to use open-ended questions, right? We hear about this when you're talking about interviewing skills and such. So instead of saying like, did you have a good childhood? They could just answer yes. Or they could be like, no, I didn't. And then you got to ask, well, why not? Blah, 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 blah. Right? You could ask, something like, maybe start even with the neighborhood that they grew up. Tell me about the neighborhood that you grew up in. So instead of saying, where did you grow up? Detroit, Michigan. Tell me about the neighborhood that you grew up in. So now it's going to start getting them to think about maybe the park that was around the corner, or that neighbor that was down the street, or how their mom used to come walking down the road, at 5 o'clock, and they needed to have that chicken thawed out, before she got home or something. You know what I mean? Tell me about the neighborhood that you grew up in. So I want you all to think about open-ended questions, not questions that can be answered with one word. Okay? Not everyone that is being asked about their life story always wants to go into a lot of detail up front. So when you're coming in and you're just doing like short, rapid fire questions, blah, 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 you may actually shut them down instead of what it is that you want them to do, which is to open up and feel more comfortable. Okay. So use simple prompts, but also open ended prompts, and let them speak naturally. Don't interrupt. Don't start firing stuff at them. Like, some of the best gems and some of the best stories and things come after people get warmed up and they're able to just, talk and flow without you interrupting them. All right. So that's step number two. Use simple prompts, but open ended questions, and allow them to speak naturally. All right. Step number three is one of the most important. You're trying to preserve their life story, right? So you need to record or write this down. When you're talking to them, record it or write it down. Now, I'm on the side of recording because I don't like to be, with pen and paper while I'm trying to have a conversation or a connection with someone. Maybe you are a pen and paper person, so you gotta have a notebook there and write it down. I tend to be on the side of get my phone, right? And then turn on voice recorder, make sure it's actually recording, turn on voice recorder, and then just, connect and be able to be in sync with the person that I'm actually talking to. So, whatever way you want to do it though, but make sure that you record or you write it down. There's Otter.ai. That's a beautiful transcription tool. There's voice to text on your computer. Excuse me, guys. There's voice to text on the computer, so you can use that. Right? There are a lot of different. There's even on Microsoft Word, and also what do you call it, Google Docs. You can do speech to text and such now as well, right? So there are things that you can do to record it, but do something. And remember, something is better than nothing. Even just one story, even just one little snippet of a story that you save is priceless for future generations. So don't overstress, don't overthink it. Just have fun with it, right? Let your elders know that you care about them, that you love them, that you value them, that you want to know more about their lives, that you want to preserve more about their stories, and let them feel that while they can, right? Let them feel that while they can, all right? All right, so I'm Zarina Elamine. I am excited to have you all here, and we're going to help you all write your life stories. Now, I should say, this is a part of our bigger movement. So we're looking to help at least 1,000 families to write their life stories in the next year. If that's you and you want our assistance, either with our ghostwriting program or our life story writing coaching and such, then click the link in the bio or the description somewhere, and we'll be able to help you all get that done and get your family legacy complete. All right, see you in the next videos. Peace, everybody.